Hello students. Now in continuation with the adaptations of animals, we have seen in the previous session about physical adaptations. Okay, right? Now in this session we will be looking at behavioral adaptations. Okay, now when we talk about behavioral adaptations, say what do we see in behavioral adaptations? Behavioral adaptations allow animals to respond to life needs. So, what an animal needs in its life, that is what is a behavioral adaptations. Okay, so what it needs in life will let us understand or let us decide how the animal is responding in its life. Okay, and depending upon the need as to how it is responding, that is also very, very important. So that is basically what is a behavioral adaptation. Okay, then so behavioral adaptations, you have two columns here, which is allows animals to respond to life needs. Okay, right? And if we want to fill this, we'll go to the next slide and see. Here we will see behavioral adaptations are animals' actions. Okay, so when I say behavioral adaptations are animal actions, that means what? We have to remember here that physical adaptations are body structures. Okay, physical adaptations are body structures. Now, each organism has unique methods of adapting to its environment by means of different actions. So, the organism adapts itself to the conditions which are thrown by the nature to it, okay, by different actions. So, this is the other one that we are looking at, by the different actions, how the animal is behaving. Okay, right? So, that is the animal actions. So, we have completed this entire chart. Okay, I hope you have made a note of the points. Okay, right. Now, moving on. Homeostasis. Now, homeostasis is very, very important in the life of an organism. Now, what is homeostasis? Homeostasis means maintenance of constant internal conditions in the face of varying external environment. So, say for example, we are there. Okay, right? So, we are maintaining our body temperature close to around 37.8 degree centigrade. Okay, that is basically normal. So 98.7 is basically considered normal body temperature. Now our body is constantly maintaining that temperature, okay, to, even though there is winter, there is summer, there is rainy and there is spring, no matter whatever condition is, we have to maintain that constant temperature in our body. Okay, right? So there might be some point differences here and there, but it generally ranges from 96 to 98. Okay, right? Now, example, the thickening of fur in winter. Now this we have seen in many organisms, the fur will be thick. For animals, the fur will become thick in order to cope up with the cold winter. Then, the seeking of shade in heat. Obviously, it's an animal behavior. Even if we do the same thing, if there's a lot of heat, we seek shelter in various places. Okay, right. Then, the production of more red blood cells at high altitude. This is very, very important because as you go higher at the altitude, the pressure, atmospheric pressure is less. So because of that, what happens? The blood, there is a lot of pressure which is getting built up because the body is trying to maintain that atmospheric pressure. Okay, right? So in order to do that, red blood cells count has to increase. That means more red blood cells has to be made. Okay, so this is basically what is homeostasis, that is maintaining the internal structure of our, or internal temperature of our body. Okay, right, moving on. Homeostasis. So maintenance of constant internal conditions in the face of varying external environment. So this is the definition for it. Okay, condition, it can be temperature also. That's why I said maintaining internal temperature. Okay, so we will see what homeostasis is divided into. It's divided into two kinds here. Okay, so we'll see what are they. First one is endotherm, second one is ectotherms. Okay, so first one is endotherms and second one is ectotherms. endotherms. Okay, right. Moving on. Okay, endotherms and exotherms. Sorry, ectotherms. Okay. Now we will see what endotherms are now. Okay, what are endotherms? Now endotherms are animals that warm their bodies mainly from their own metabolism. That is, endo means inside. So here endo means inside. Okay, and therms means temperature. Okay, so the organisms which maintain their internal temperature of the body through their own metabolism, okay, through their own metabolism, it is called as, they are called as endotherms. Okay, right, we'll just change the color to make it more beautiful. Okay, right. Now, okay, so endotherms are animals that warm the bodies mainly from their own metabolism. Okay, mainly from their own metabolism, the organisms warm their body up. Okay, right. Then we call these animals warm blooded. So the most common thing that you people know is a warm blooded animal. Okay, right. Then maintain a constant body temperature regardless of the change in the surroundings of temperature. So warm blooded are creatures which are they are organisms which maintain their constant body temperature regardless of the change in the surrounding temperature. So if the temperature of the surrounding is more, that doesn't matter, the organisms will be able to maintain that constant body temperature in them. Okay, right, they will be able to maintain the constant body temperature inside them. So they are basically endotherms. All right, so we will fill this up. Endotherms, animals that warm their body mainly from their own metabolism. Okay, then you have warm blooded creatures in endotherms, and what are those? They maintain the body temperature regardless the same regardless of weather. Okay, then moving on. Okay, how do endotherms adapt? This is also very, very important. So endotherms, we said warm-blooded creatures. So dogs are the best example for warm-blooded creatures. Even we are warm-blooded creatures. Okay, right. Now, fat layers, furs and feathers insulate the body and retain heat. So even in our body, we have a layer of fat. Okay, so this all layer of fat, this is also a layer of fat. Okay, now this fat is actually very, very important in our body because it prevents the loss of heat from the body, and it also helps in the maintenance of our internal body environment. Okay, right, or body temperature in this case. Okay, right. Now fat layers is what I said just now. Fur, so you can see the fur on the dog depending upon the region it is living in. Okay, if it is in Shimla, the fur will be more. If it is in Hyderabad, the fur will be less. Okay, right. Then feathers to insulate the body. Feathers, you might have seen many birds having feathers. So feathers, if you see closely, the feathers have they generally repel water. That means what? They don't allow the heat. They repel water, and also they perform one more function is they insulate the body and they retain the heat. Okay, they insulate the body and they retain the heat. So that is one thing. Then shivering muscles contract to increase the body heat. Okay, so what do you mean by shivering muscles? The muscles are constantly in contact with each other. Okay, so when they are when they are rubbed apart, the heat is produced, and that is how they maintain the internal body heat. Then some animals hibernate. Say for example, bears are there. Bears, 6 months they are active, 6 months they are sleeping. Hibernation. Okay, hibernation enables animals to survive long periods of cold and lack of food. So bears adapt this kind of a mode of adaptation. Okay, so bears are endotherms. They hibernate. Okay, so they eat a lot of food, they grow in their body mass, they grow in their weight, and they go somewhere inside a cave and they sleep, they hibernate. Okay, so that whatever fat is there, which has developed during that period of eating will be utilized in the next few months so that the bear can survive the adverse conditions like cold and lack of food. Okay, right? Then canines like this Brittany, this is a Brittany breed, okay, use paintings as a means of temperature regulation. Panting, I'm so sorry, it's not painting, it's panting. Okay, so canines like this Brittany use panting as a means of temperature regulation. So this is basically what is panting. Majority of the dogs do it. Okay, that is basically panting. Okay, so these are endotherms. So how are the endotherms adapting themselves? Excuse me. So they have fat layers, fur and feathers. Okay, and they do hibernation and shivering muscles. Okay, right? Now we will go on to the next topic, which is the ectotherms. Okay, right? So ectotherms are organisms which show temperature with regard to the external environment. Okay, they regulate their body temperatures with the external environment. So we'll see what are these ectotherms in the next session. Okay, thank you so much.